Okay, so I wanted to talk about split definitions versus single definitions and how this can show up in relationships. And when I am talking about definition, I'm talking about how many groups of energy you have in your chart. So a single definition person is going to have all of their defined energy centers linked together through channels. So it's almost as though all parts of you that you have defined are going to be connected. There's a branch that's getting in the frame. All parts of you are going to be connected and communicating with each other at all times. Now, someone who is split definition, there's also such a thing as triple split and quadruple split definition, which I'm not going to get into as much in this video. But with splits, what that means is that you have different groupings in your chart of different energy centers that are defined together and then other ones that are defined together, and they're not all connected to each other, meaning that you will naturally have this sense of being drawn to others that have the gates and the channels that will bridge your defined centers so that you feel more complete, so you feel like you can have clarity, so you feel like all parts of you are operating and communicating with each other. Now, again, in design, there's no such thing as ever having a good design or a bad design. Everything is perfect. Everything is here for a purpose. Single definition people are here to be a little bit more independent, and split definition people, I oftentimes will say that y'all are like the puzzle pieces that are holding us all together, because you're really the ones who are seeking out relationships, and you're naturally more equipped to operate and function in those relationships. So it's not to say that as a single definition person that you are destined to be single or that you suck at relationships, but I will say, as a single definition person myself, that we have a responsibility to listen to the split definition people in our life and ask them what it is they need in that relationship. They also have to learn how to be assertive and tell you what they need and ask for what they need. But that's one thing we can do to support them, because again, most of us were not raised with awareness of design, so we don't know this about ourselves. So as people who are privileged with this knowledge, this is one thing we can do to support. Okay, so let's talk about the role that the spleen plays in all of this. So single definition people, if you also have a defined spleen like I do, I'm single def and splenic authority, defined spleen, it's really important to pay attention to when is my authority actually telling me to leave versus when am I trying to leave this relationship because I don't want to compromise, because I don't want to learn something. This is critical because the defined spleen has an easier time letting things go. So it kind of like the single definition and the defined spleen kind of compounds on each other. Versus if you're single definition and you have an undefined spleen, then better or worse, your undefined spleen is more likely to try to hold on to that relationship and try to make it work, especially if you're in a relationship with someone with a defined spleen. Now, this is also something to be careful about, because we don't want to keep ourselves in unhealthy situations, right? And that's the very common tendency, the not self of the undefined spleen, is to hold on to something that's not healthy for you. So that's not what I'm talking about at all. But what I am saying is that all of us single definition, defined spleens of the world, we are notorious for having avoidant attachment styles in relationships and for jumping ship in the relationship too early before our authority gives us that green light or before there's another opportunity there, because we don't want to compromise or learn something. So just something to watch out for. Now, split definition people often have to deal with this conditioning that they are too needy or too dependent. And first of all, you just need to know that you are not needy or dependent for needing other people in your life to help you process information. this is actually crucial for your process. What I would suggest, though, is ensuring that you're not relying solely on one person. Especially, I see this in partnerships a lot, where the split definition person will rely completely on their partner, or sometimes even completely on one of their children, to feel like their emotional needs or their experiential needs or some other types of needs are met. So making sure that you have a good network of people around you who can help you with this is going to be key. And sometimes even just going out in public and sitting in a coffee shop, or going to, one of the environments that feels good for you, you're likely going to come into aura with somebody else who has that gate or that channel or those centers that you need to help you bridge that, to help you kind of come to clarity. So hopefully that helps. This was a big aha moment for me in my relationships, especially learning that I'm a single definition and that I really need my independence at times, and to explain to the split definition people in my life that it's not personal at all, and having really direct communication with them about what they need.